It's 4 o'clock, good afternoon, and welcome to LJ News. At the height of Melbourne's anti-lockdown protests, Ash Jackson was a familiar face. Front and centre of screaming crowds, she dutifully waved flags, clashed with police, and was arrested several times. For almost a year, she was totally consumed as the follower of the freedom movement. Entire days were spent online, reading and watching anti-government videos and posts on encrypted social media apps, becoming increasingly paranoid, angry, and obsessed. Jackson turned up on the news more than once after being arrested and was shunned by family and friends. But now she's out. About 8 months after leaving the movement, she still can't believe the grip it had on her life. Jackson says if you had asked her a year ago where she might be in 2022, she would have said in a concentration camp for the unvaccinated or engaged in an insurrection after a communist takeover. I was thinking by this time that we have an underground movement with weaponry, says the 48-year-old. In her small Melbourne apartment, Jackson brings up a YouTube video on her television. It's a Channel 7 report from February 20th, 2021. Today, hundreds of protesters marched to the Shrine of Remembrance and ended up being corralled by police at Fawkner Park, where dozens were arrested. The freedom movement, initially centered around anti-lockdown and anti-vaccine sentiment, saw protesters take to the streets, particularly in Melbourne, every weekend for almost 2 years to reject COVID health measures. Last year, as lockdowns lifted, the movement's leaders shifted their attention to vaccine mandates. This year, protesters have descended on Canberra, including on Saturday, talking about everything from the dangers of vaccination to QAnon-adjacent theories about pedophiles with the Australian government. At the extreme edges are those who claim they are willing, as sovereign citizens, to launch a full government takeover, violent or otherwise. In his latest annual threat assessment, delivered this week, the boss of Australia's counter-espionage agency ASIO, Mike Burgess, highlights growing concern about online radicalization during the pandemic, noting vaccine mandates and lockdowns had fueled extremism that is not specifically left or right-wing. Conspiracy theories are not new, but in the internet age they grow and morph quickly. Pre-pandemic, QAnon, a theory that the world is run by a cabal of pedophiles who drink the blood of children, was dominant online. Evidence from the online support groups suggests that now the overlap between QAnon and anti-vaccination sentiment is strong. One of the moderators of the 230,000-person Reddit page, QAnon Casualties, is Sydneyman Jidarif Jadeja. 5 years ago, he returned to Sydney from a university exchange in the United States and was living at home, studying part-time with no job or partner. He became increasingly obsessed with US politics. I was really basically on my own, on the internet, just all day, every day. Jaja, whose father still believes in QAnon after he introduced him to it, says trying to reason with those caught up in conspiracy theories is fruitless. Focus on their behavior rather than their beliefs. Chances are, if they believe in this, their behavior changed. They become more anxious, they've become more agitated, more aggressive. They can't not talk about it, so focus on their behavior, he says. Say it's fine, I don't care what you believe. That doesn't explain why you haven't done the dishes or picked up Jamie from soccer the last 2 Sundays in a row. JJ hopes that sharing his story and the lessons he and others have learned can increase conversation around de-radicalization. Now more than ever, being able to better understand the influences that led people to QAnon and other conspiracies is crucial, he says. They say, tinfoil hat brigade. What has that got to do with a goddamn thing? You're acting like these people are crazy, like they belong in a nut house. These people go to work, they have family, and they believe you are a part of the controlling cabal, and they will justify incredible misdeeds as a justification for righting wrongs. And that includes violence, he says. I just don't think that anyone has quite grasped how serious the situation is. Those who come out of the rabbit hole should be able to find a path back to the normality without being shamed, he says. There has to be some sort of pathway back to polite society for most of these people because most of them haven't done anything. If there isn't, then there's no incentive for them to come back.